Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Dr. Barkis Ophthalmology Tutorials. Today we will discuss about POAG, that is primary open angle glaucoma, normal tension glaucoma and ocular hypertension. So in this video I will be discussing briefly about what these words, how to diagnose these cases, what are the differences between POAG and normal tension glaucoma. Okay, the next part, that is the treatment part, I will be discussing in my next video, which is purely about the anti-glaucoma medications. Okay, so without much delay, let's begin our video on POAG, NTG and ocular hypertension. So let's describe this word POAG, that is primary open angle glaucoma. So for that you have to dissect the word. This is the letter G, which means glaucoma. So it will have the triad of glaucoma, that is visual field defects, optic disc changes, okay, as well as raised intraocular pressure. So these POAG patients will have all these features of visual field changes, optic disc changes as well as raised intraocular pressure. So coming to the next word, that is open angle. So whenever you do gonioscopic examination, these patients will have open angle, means the trabecular meshwork is seen in all the quadrants. Then coming to the word primary. So as I have told in my previous videos, primary means there is no other ocular or the systemic conditions which are favoring the raised intraocular pressure. Okay, so to summarize, primary open angle glaucoma patients will have raised intraocular pressure, optic disc changes and visual field changes along with open angles, and there is no predisposing ocular or systemic features. So the next type of glaucoma is normal tension glaucoma, also called as NTG. So again go according to the word. Again glaucoma is there. So the triad, that is optic disc changes, visual field changes, okay, as well as intraocular pressure, but it is not raised here, okay. As the name suggests, again it is normal. So normal tension glaucoma is nothing but these patients will have characteristic glaucomatous optic disc changes with the corresponding visual field changes, but the IOP being normal and it is never raised more than 21 mm of mercury. Okay, so this is the definition of normal tension glaucoma. So coming to the next entity, that is ocular hypertension. Observe, there is no word like glaucoma here. There is no glaucoma. So it means that there are no features of either visual field changes or the optic disc changes. Okay, these two features are not present. Only there is increased intraocular pressure, that is called as ocular hypertension. Okay, so let's discuss in detail about all these three now. There is one more entity called as primary open angle glaucoma suspects. So it has other permutation combination of these changes. Patients of suspects, you have optic nerve head changes which are typical of glaucoma, but there are no changes with respect to visual fields and there is no increased intraocular pressure. So this constitutes POAG suspect patients. This is primary open angle glaucoma, that is the salient features of primary open angle glaucoma I will be discussing now. This primary open angle glaucoma is also called by so many other names, so don't get confused. All these mean the same condition, that is primary open angle glaucoma, also called as chronic open angle glaucoma. It is also called as simple glaucoma as well as primary adult glaucoma. All these mean the same entity which I am describing now. Okay, POAG is usually bilateral condition, affects both the eye, more or less symmetrical condition. Okay, and it is more common in more than 40 years of population, more common in Caucasians. In Asians, more than half of the glaucoma is because of the POAG. The gene location is in myocilin gene, okay, also called as MYOC, or optineurin gene, WD, repeat domain 36. Okay, so these are the gene location for the POAG cases. And the prevalence of this primary open angle glaucoma is about 1 to 2% of population which is more than 40 years of age. So if you take 100 people of more than 40 years, 1 to 2 will be suffering from primary open angle glaucoma. Diabetes mellitus as well as myopia are frequently associated condition with glaucoma, runs in families. So the pathogenesis of this glaucoma I have explained in detail in my previous videos. So I have dropped the link in my description box. Please go through that video once again. In these cases of primary open angle glaucoma, the outflow obstruction is mainly at the juxtacanalicular region, okay, which is an age-related change. So coming to the symptoms of POAG patients, so this is one condition where patients will not appreciate any of the symptoms. That's the reason we should go and screen these patients for glaucoma, because patients will not come to you because they don't have any symptoms. Okay, so the major symptom or the disease process here is the contraction of the visual fields. That is, the central visual acuity remains normal. Even the end stage glaucoma patients can have 6/6 vision, as I told in my previous video. So there is contraction of the visual field, and that is also not sudden. Okay, there is gradual contraction of the visual field which patient may not appreciate. Okay, so if you consider other symptoms which patients may have or like headache, so whenever a patient comes to you with headache who is more than 40 years of age, do screen for glaucoma. Okay, and the second symptom is frequent changing of the presbyopia glasses. Usually we change the presbyopia glasses, that is which is given after 40 years, once in 2 years. Okay, if the patient is coming more often, it may give a clue towards glaucoma. And the third symptom is the delayed dark adaptation. Means whenever you go to a cinema hall or a dark place, after some time you will get adjusted and see the things little clearly. Okay, in these patients the dark adaptation takes little more longer time. Then in those cases also suspect glaucoma and do evaluate for glaucoma. Next, moving on to the examination part, the visual acuity, as I told, it remains normal in most of the cases, but still you need to do visual acuity and the refraction for the evaluation of the visual fields, where you have to put the refraction correction further with the visual field examination. So do visual acuity with the necessary refraction correction with the presbyopic correction as well. Then go for anti-segment examination, which will show the point which is important in POIGs. Here the patients will have normal anterior chamber depth, unlike the patients of angle closure glaucoma. Okay, the anterior chamber depth is normal here. One more important thing is the central corneal thickness. So this is very important here because a thin cornea usually will give a false low IOP. So you may diagnose a case of POAG as normal tension glaucoma if you miss this central corneal thickness. So measure the central corneal thickness, and if it is thin, give the necessary correction and calculate the normal IOP. Then if you do the gonioscopy, you will have normal angle structure, as you are able to see the trabecular meshwork in all the quadrants. And the disc evaluation and the visual field changes which are seen, I have explained in detail in my previous videos. So that's all about the primary open angle glaucoma. Means I have explained other details like optic disc changes, visual field changes and the pathogenesis of primary open angle glaucoma in my other videos. Please do see those, and I have explained the salient features here. Okay, so now we will see the differences between primary open angle glaucoma and the normal tension glaucoma. If you consider blood pressure, there is more nocturnal dip in the BP in normal tension glaucoma. Okay, unlike primary open angle glaucoma patient. And if you consider the diastolic BP, it is usually more in case of normal tension glaucoma compared to POAG patients. And if you consider the viscosity of the plasma and the blood, it is usually more in case of normal tension glaucoma compared to POAG patients. So you remember those two. And if you come to the optic nerve head examination, that is the optic disc evaluation, in POAG, that is primary open angle glaucoma, there is uniform and concentric thinning of the neuroretinal ring. Whereas in NTG patients, the thinning is usually inferior or inferotemporal more commonly, and there is more common associated optic disc hemorrhages in case of normal tension glaucoma. And if you do RNFL examination with red-free light, you will see localized defect of RNFL in NTG patients, whereas it is diffuse uniform defect in case of primary open angle glaucoma patients. So when you do visual field examination, normal tension glaucoma patients will exhibit some features of scotoma which are specific for these NTG patients. These scotomas are usually deeper, means dense and localized. The visual field loss progression is greater in case of normal tension glaucoma. And if you consider the scotoma so if you consider this as a scotomatous area, so this is considered the area and the depth. The depth is with which intensity patient is not able to appreciate the stimuli. So the area and the depth both are equally affected in case of normal tension glaucoma. Whereas in POAG patients, the area is affected first. Means the area will go on increasing in size, then followed by the depth of scotoma. So these are the differences between normal tension glaucoma and the POAG cases. So differentiate primary open angle glaucoma and normal tension glaucoma under the headings of blood pressure, blood viscosity, okay, optic nerve head changes or the optic disc changes, RNFL defects and the visual field changes, that is scotomatous area. And other features of the normal tension glaucoma, that is optic nerve head changes and the visual field changes, are almost similar to those are of POAG cases. Whereas in ocular hypertension, there is only raised intraocular pressure, no other changes. Okay. So to summarize POAG, NTG and the ocular hypertension in a tabulated form, if you consider the symptoms, POAG patients may have symptoms of headache, frequent changes of presbyopic glasses or delayed dark adaptation. Here in NTG, it is very non-specific, and ocular hypertension patients will not have any symptoms. Anti-segment examination, all of these will show normal anterior chamber depth, otherwise it is not significant. Coming to the intraocular pressure, it is more than 21 mm of mercury in at least 2 occasions, okay, that is in POAG. In NTG, it is always less than 21 mm of mercury. In ocular hypertension, again the IOP changes are increased. Again the IOP is increased in ocular hypertension. Whereas in optic nerve head changes, there are typical features of glaucoma in both POAG and NTG, but there is no features of glaucoma in ocular hypertension. Considering the treatment in detail, I will be explaining in my next video. So you should start these patients, that is POAG and NTG, on anti-glaucoma medications. Here just follow up is enough, okay. So this is about POAG, NTG and ocular hypertension. So hope this video was useful to you. If you like my videos, please do subscribe to my channel. Press the bell icon for further notification. Like and share my video.